Alrighty, we are live from Columbus, OH, and this is the Ramsey Show Aftershow show this morning. Episode number, I believe, 595, yes. And you'll be hearing the landscaping crew. You'll be hearing those people. Also, if you watched the nighttime stream last night or have seen it the other night, when I did it as well, what this is right here, this represents just normal light. There are no lights on at all. I don't have my webcam light on. The only thing that's lighting me is light from the windows, and of course I have the monitor right there that I look at to see the chat, and so that's got the light theme on, so that's all white. And of course they do right around my house right at the time the after show starts, of course. All right, we'll just muddle through the best we can. Alrighty, I'm Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach. And if you, yes, you are having money problems, or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me by emailing coachstevemoney@gmail.com. You're watching this on youtube.com/CoachSteveMoney. And my financial content is below the Oak Island and Skinwalker Ranch playlist. And you'll see the Ramsey Show After Show playlist, and the Answering Your Financial Questions playlist, and the music playlist that has 12 Ramsey adjacent songs in there. Listen to those if you are so inclined. You might enjoy them. Market report. Looks up except for the Dow. Dow down 0.17. Let's see. I did not do a show Friday. So let's just see. I forgot to change out my mouse again, so that will be moving apparently. See the last month. Okay. So basically steady rise since September 25th. All right. So I thought there was a little downage in there somewhere. When would that have been? I guess right there, all the way back to the 25th. I don't know. I'm still in process of moving, so time doesn't have a thing. It doesn't have a place in my life right now. And let's see, NASDAQ. The last month, 5.02%, so more than the S&P 500 again. And I love to point that out because you people that are just doing the S&P 500 index fund for investing are nutty when the NASDAQ clearly beats it. Has beaten it 17 out of the last 20 years. What more of a track record would you like? You're losing money. Leave money on the table. I don't like people to do that. Let's see what the rest of the planet is looking like. Excuse me. Mostly up in Europe. Mostly up in Asia as well. Good for everybody. See the currency. How that US dollar is doing. And that would be, well, that one just changed. A second ago, the US dollar was up on the euro, but now down to the euro. US dollar up against the Japanese yen, down to the British pound low, down to the Canadian dollar 8, and down to the Australian dollar mate. And again, we see on a good market day that the dollar is down. I'm fine with it. Exxon reporting on the 6th. That is today. at 4 p.m. and JP Morgan Chase on the 14th. I guess in the interim 8 days, I guess nobody that interesting. Most followed single stocks on the Google. We have Apple being down 0.1%, Amazon 0.31% down, and Meta 0.78%, but Tesla up 3.83%. Microsoft up 1.35%, and that's why we don't just pick one of these to invest in. Although, you know, if you're like Forrest Gump and you got in on Apple in the very early days, obviously that was a fine move. Lieutenant Dan took care of his Bubba Gump money. And then one day they got a letter saying that Forrest didn't have to worry about money anymore. And that's good. One less thing. Stock market today, Dow falls, S&P 500, NASDAQ rise, and surges on OpenAI deal. Shutdown drags on. Hey, Yahoo, or is this the Google people that copied and pasted this wrong from Yahoo? I don't know exactly how that works, but however it got from Yahoo to the Google. How about we have a proofreader here before we hit publish? How about we do that? I am available for such things if you want to give me a lot of money. America saw essentially no job growth last month, warns Moody's, and any roles added were in 3 wealthy states. Okay, does that mean you get to disregard them then? I wouldn't. Moody's is the one that like decides what countries are credit worthy, etc., etc. Cold shoulder from Canada is costly for American distillers struggling with global trade tensions. Hey man, business is business. Probably a tariff thing there happening. And you know, what can you do? You can't control it. You just have to react to it and try to stay in business. Long Island business owner slapped with $6 million lawsuit over law they didn't know they were breaking. Well, I mean, that's, you know, that's how that works sometimes. Your New York state legislature or Long Island itself, they could get together and make a law. And even if it makes the news, that doesn't mean that everybody's aware of it. And so it's possible that could easily happen. Treasury Secretary Besant, don't know how to pronounce that, to remain as IRS commissioner after filling role on temporary basis, sources say. All right, and that's fine. Does he get 2 salaries, I wonder? Finding Francine, how Lowe's brought a beloved cat home to Richmond. Okay. That's your, you know, that's like your local news. That's how that works, you know. Bad news, bad news, bad news, bad news, bad news, bad news. A cat gets a home. You know, that's how that works. They like to shove that in there before the weather. Took my first Waymo robotaxi ride during a trip to San Francisco. I was shocked by the cost compared to Uber and Lyft. Okay, thanks for not saying whether it was more expensive or less expensive. You would think less because they don't have to pay a driver. Engadget says the best Amazon Prime Day deals. Okay. 58% off Apple, Samsung, Lego, Dyson, Shark, and others before the sale begins. And yet you don't buy any of that stuff if you have baby steps to be handling instead. And of course, we always like to check on NVIDIA. AMD is fun as well. AMD 26.77% up. and they might be involved with that OpenAI thing. What up, Obs? It's a kitty, right? Right, little kitty story to make everybody feel good and forget about all the bad news. And NVIDIA down 1.04. But they have a big OpenAI deal too. But this is the one that was announced today, so this is the one that jumps. And of course, my large cap fund, of course, does have AMD in it, and NVIDIA has both in it there. So that's why we do that instead of investing in single stocks or in just the indexes. Alrighty, let's get to some questions. I forgot to get a budget question of the day, so we won't have one of those. Unfortunately, forgot to get that ready today. But I did get some more questions since we were out of questions on the Dave Ramsey subreddit. And these questions come from the Facebook group, the Ramsey Baby Steps community. And that is the only forum like that is run by Ramsey Solutions. There's a bunch of other ones on the Facebook, but those are not run by Ramsey Solutions. Run by fans, just like that subreddit is. What would Dave do is what that stands for. I'm on the verge of coming out of storm mode. The process has taken a year of my time and about 5 years of my life. I left a relationship and have been on the verge of a layoff. Layoff is one word for the past year. I just got word that while my position is ending, I will most likely have another position to transition to. Not TOO means also. TO is what you were looking for. And of course, you don't end the sentence with a preposition. Nothing is 100% yet. However, I want to be prepared. So here it goes. Maybe Texas speech. Who knows? Who knows what's going on with people? I make $4,800 per month take home outside of regular household bills. I have a $23,000 HELOC. That was dumb. The interest rate doesn't matter. While I have been holding at minimum payments plus 50 to 100% a month extra, I am ready to tackle this thing. Okay. Plus a $23,000 HVAC repair. So they both happen to be $23,000 that need to be done as I plan to sell my house in the next year. And no, it doesn't. When you plan to sell the house, you don't have to spend a lot of money on it to fix it up. You don't need to do that. You just sell it for cheaper. Sell it for $23,000 less. How about that? And you let the new person fix it. People are nutty. Of course, the realtor wants you to fix it because then they can sell it for more money and then they get more commission. But you tell them to go pound sand and you do not fix that up. You sell the house for cheaper. I don't care about that interest either. I've sold everything I could spare and have $22,000 in cash. We should not be having cash. That should go to pay off that HELOC or cash flow that HVAC repair if it's already done. And you said that needed to be done. Yeah, it needs to be done, but not by you because you're not going to be living in that house. I also have a rental that generates about $500 a month in cash. Great, sell the rental and get out of debt then. I cannot sell this house as it's in a trust and won't be able to sell for another 2 years, so that is not an option. Okay. Then you can sell the rental. With the 500 extra plus about 600 extra each month, how do you suggest I tackle this? In total, the extra is 1,100. My gut says triple the HELOC period payment since it was the highest interest, and now I'm not losing my job. I can do it. I don't, or so I use all my cash and throw it at the Helco, which is different than a HELOC, I guess. Is using all my cash in this economy scares me to death. Thoughts? Well, your English is suspect, or again, bad speech to text by your phone, I guess. But no, you're doing it wrong. You don't have other debt and also a rental property. And so, especially if you have a mortgage on that rental property, there is no loan involved in any business thing. All of that business is built with cash, even buying a house to rent out. So that's going to be a no. So this person is doing it wrong. That's my thoughts. You're doing it wrong. And the little in this economy excuse that people give for doing dumbass stuff, that's been happening ever since I started listening to the Ramsey show 30 years ago. So people have been saying that on there. So you cannot use that today and think, oh, it's today's economy. It's bad. No. And so if you wanna make your finances better, you get rid of the rental and get rid of all of your debt. That's how you do that. So if you can't sell that house since it's in a trust, and won't be able to sell for another 2 years, so that is not an option. Okay, so I don't understand. This person talks weirdly. Maybe not American. Who knows? Or English. Maybe English second language. Who knows? But as it's in a trust and won't be able to sell for another 2 years, is it coming out of the trust in 2 years? Why can you sell in 2 years? So plenty of questions for this person, but you're doing it wrong. So stop doing it wrong. Whoops. Almost pulled over my other monitor over there. Do I have anything else to say about this? I see, people always have their little things to do. They read the baby steps, maybe, or not. They read the baby steps, and then they think, oh, well, I'm going to do some dumb crap like say, oh, I'm going to do triple the HELOC. You send everything extra to the lowest debt that you have, and you keep going from there. And so why you need to say in your mind something like, oh, my gut says triple the HELOC. It's so dumb. It's so dumb of you. It's been proven the way that it's written right here. So you don't have to do anything except do these steps the way they are written. Those are my thoughts on that. Stop trying to think so much, and stop trying to do it wrong, and still doing debt leveraging and all that stuff. Stop all of that. Stop all of it. There was a caller on the Ramsey show today that was basically like, I did say this in the chat as well. Basically was like, okay, how can I do these steps without changing anything that I'm doing? And like one of the things he was doing was he had a big savings account. And are you supposed to have a big savings account when you have debt? Or are you supposed to just have the $1,000? And those people are very interesting psychologically, because it always, well, our deal is you save $1,000, everything else goes to the debt, right? And, the people are always like, oh, well, that scares me to death. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You can keep doing it your dumbass way, or you can try a different way, a proven way. 30 years, track record, 20 million documented success stories, and your little plan here with tripling the HELOC thing here and whatever else you're doing, which I can't figure out exactly everything that's going on because the person didn't explain it very well. So yeah, stop doing your dumb crap. How does my husband's pension work for saving our 15% for retirement? He has a para pension where, or PERA, don't know what that is, where he contributes 6.5% and the county does 7.5. This is mandatory. He can't control this. Correct. Okay, and how that works is because it's a pension, pensions results in less money than the market does. And so he contributes 6.5%, but guess what? That's only worth half of that amount towards the 15% because it sucks compared to the market. So that would count for 3.25%. So that means he has to do another 13.5. No, what is it? 12.5. No, 11.5. My bad. I can do math. Promise. What did I say? 3.25. So 11.75% is what you need to be investing elsewhere to get to the 15%. The 7.5% would be gravy on the biscuit, so you don't include that anywhere. The 15% is the amount of skin that Dave wants you to have in the game. OBS, didn't get back to OBS, sorry. How long ago was that? Only 9 minutes ago. She's doing A-okay, excellent. New owner might want it different than how you fix it. That's true as well. See, that gives them the option. And some people may specifically be looking for something like that where they can do it a different way. But no, everybody thinks, oh no, I have to fix it so I can get the most money for it. No, you do not have to. People are nutty, closing themselves off to different ideas because they've locked themselves into one thing that they think is definitely the way to do it, and that's the only way you can ever do it. And so, but they're wrong. So open your mind a little bit. I recently closed my credit card, 7K bloody quid. That would be British pounds, love. Limit. It was always a backup. It feels like, for me, my safety net is gone. These things have a real psychological hold. Praying I don't go back down that road. Well, you do more than pray about it. You also make yourself not go back to that. And so recently closed it. Great. Cut it up as well so you can't call them and say, hey, open that up again. You close it, so yeah, cut it up. Destroy it if you have not already. And you just don't do debt again. Debt is taken off the table in baby step 0. That's where you decide, oh, I'm going to pay off all my stupid debt that I already have, and I'm not going to take out any more ever. Except maybe the mortgage for a house that you live in, not a rental property. No one else around me gets it, so I'm posting in this community. 229 days to baby step 3. Excellent. Make it happen faster than that is what I would say. I'm never satisfied. I always have something for people to do extra or at least consider. Ob says create a new safety net. It's called an emergency fund. That much is certain. That is correct. And if you are on baby step 2, your safety net is only $1,000. Tough crap. Live with it. Pay off your debt quickly so that you can get to the part where you build the full emergency fund. Question for everyone. Maybe someone's been in this space before. I'm upside down about 15K on my vehicle with 6 years left to pay it off. My goodness gracious me. And I want out of the loan. Okay, great. I'm debating on downgrading vehicles and rolling the negative equity. All right, so this is basically this person saying, okay, I'm not in a good position here, and now I'm going to make it even worse. Okay, again, part of baby step 0 is where you decide no new debt. okay, and rolling the negative equity into the new loan to try and get it shorter terms. It's try to, actually, though. Try and is not a thing. It's try to. And pay it off quicker. So how are you going to do that? It's more debt. It's more debt. Even though you're downgrading vehicles, you're rolling the negative equity into it. So, no, any recommendations would be appreciated. I would be glad to tell you how to do this. I don't know how to approach it and don't want to be stuck with this car loan for that long. I realize my mistake, and unfortunately, it's a live and learn moment for me. Thanks in advance, and I hope you do learn it. Learn the lesson here. You buy vehicles in cash. Upside down about 15K, okay? And it's got 6 years left to go on the loan. So I'm going to go ahead and say it's at least 4 times that. It's like $60,000 loan, something like that. Regardless, okay, when you have a $60,000 loan, here's the one time where you can borrow money and you're not adding to the debt because you're getting rid of the other 45K or whatever it is. We don't know how much the actual loan is. But Mr. Ramsey is fine with you getting a loan if you are net decreasing your debt by that much. So you would be decreasing your debt by $45,000 if it's a $60,000 loan. And we do not want to have a $60,000 loan, do we? No, we do not. And so then you would only have 15K, and you replace that car, you do downgrade on vehicle, and that was a correct instinct, but you buy that with cash. So if you don't have any cash to do that with, fine, go ahead and get 20K on your loan, and that's still getting rid of 40K of debt. Yeah, so that's how you do that. You don't roll the negative equity in ever. People do that all the time, and that just equals more debt over and over and over and over again. Also, you can't roll the negative equity into the new loan unless you buy it at a dealership. Don't buy it at a dealership. That's the way you pay the most for it. So downgrading vehicles, you're looking for used, buy it from an individual private sale, and you'll get a better deal than the dealership, because guess what? The dealership wants to make money. So when they buy used cars, they don't give the seller that much money for it either, because they lowball them so that they make more money. Dealerships in the business not to facilitate your car moving aroundness, but they're in business to make money. Alrighty. Just got to 10 years left on a 15-year mortgage. How to drive this thing down faster? Just like anything you ask about money. How do I pay my debt off faster? How do I do this part with money? How do I use money for this? How do I get the money to do this? How do I save X? You do that. You do anything that you want to do with money by not spending the money on anything else. Stop being dumb. There's no easy button. There's no magic trick to do it. You just don't spend money on other things. You spend it on these important things that you want to do, like building your full emergency fund would be one. And once you're on steps 4, 5, and 6, step 6 is pay off the house early. And so how you do that is you do not spend money on anything else. Like for example, oh, I kind of want a new car. How about we pay off the mortgage instead? That kind of thing. Oh, I want to buy this. Oh, I want to go on this vacation. How about we, which you can do. You just have to put it in the budget. It's fine to go on a vacation once you're in baby steps 4, 5, and 6. Totally fine. So, but you get to decide, and you just don't want to be doing that vacation thing every month. You eventually want to be putting extra money to, instead of to fun things, you want to put it to paying off the mortgage, which to me, that would be fun as well. 5% for a credit card, debt is done, cash is king, and the person provided a picture, and it's a little note taped to the door. You know, can't make a plaque or anything like that. We'll just print it out and tape it to the door or window. There's a 5% surcharge on all credit card transactions. Thank you for understanding. And that I'm sure that applies to debit card as well. And so that's going to be a no for me. I don't know what business this is, but this is just when you don't fraternize with that business. You don't patronize that business. I think I missed copying a J there. Just here to share a few ways how I, as a single woman of a particular age, save money. The way you save money, anybody can save money like that. It doesn't matter. People love to point out their little demographics and stuff, but you know, men's can do it too. Couples can do it too. So you have, and any people of any age can save money the exact same way. And let's prove that. See, make sure this is not limited to single woman of a particular age. You just wanted to draw attention to yourself. That's all. Let's see. I don't pay for trash. Instead, I take it to the gas station or plaza trash can. All right, that's excessive. My smart TV has free channel lineups. I do not do that. I do pay the trash fee. I can't remember if it's, I think it's just included in the rent. My smart TV has free channel lineups, which is a huge cost savings, but this may not work if you're a sports junkie, correct? Lastly, when driving long distances, I always bring my own food, snacks, and water. Right, because you're going to pay an arm and a leg at gas stations for that stuff. I make plates in advance, put them in restaurant to-go containers, and keep those refrigerated meals in a small cooler. Keep them up when I stop for gas. Great. I snack on the, right, because the gas stations have microwaves on for those frozen burritos. I snack on the fruits and nuts while driving. I understand not everyone can do this. Yes, they can. You don't have to be a single woman of a particular age to do it. Everybody can do everything that you said. Everybody can do that. Now, whether you want to take your trash to the gas station or plaza trash can, I guess that's just what the city is doing your trash for you now. But yeah, everybody can do that. So people are just nutty. I'm from New Zealand and I've been following the Ramsey program for about a year. For the first time in my 42 years. I have no consumer debt and an emergency fund. Fabulous. Does it change my life? Never I thought I would have only my mortgage to pay off. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, changed my life too. Eating on a budget. 1 cup cooked rice, 1 can tuna fish, barbecue sauce, and shredded cheese. Barbecue sauce and the cheese, probably fine. And the rice too, even. Probably fine. The tuna fish, or like they say in the bloody UK, and I think Australia as well, mate. Tuna, C-H-U-N-A. Starts with a T, but for some reason, let's turn it into a C-H sound. People are nutty. Update, I know some people might think the combo is weird or gross, but it's actually quite good. Just make sure you heat it up. Sort of like a tuna melt. You could also use chicken, ground beef, or ground turkey instead of the tuna fish. Yeah, because the tuna fish, I mean, I get you're trying to get the protein in there, sure. But the chicken, beef, or turkey would probably go better with the barbecue sauce. It's just I'm trying to reconcile that in my head is tuna and barbecue sauce. And it might just be fine. It could be fine. I don't know that I'll be trying that, but maybe I will try it, and maybe it's fine. Sometimes some things that you don't think will go well together end up going well together. I think there was one other thing that somebody said, oh, I enjoy tuna and eat a lot of tuna mac. And so basically that would just be because you got your noodles, the cheese, and then with tuna. And so that doesn't have anything like the barbecue sauce is, I guess, a good word for that would be tangy. And mixing that in with the tuna would be the problem there. But just like noodles kind of bland, you know. So and they don't have necessarily a taste on it unless you're putting a flavoring packet on there. And of course, maybe a little bit from the cheese. Hello, I need to roll over. I need to, one of the most overused words in this line of work, financial advice, because people think they need to do a lot of stuff they do not need to do. I mean, you want to. You don't need to. It's not a law. You do not have to roll over a 401k. Even if you stop working there, it might be a good idea to roll it over to something else so you don't ever lose it. Like if that company goes out of business or something like that, then you don't have to track your 401k down. And so it might be a good idea, but you don't need to. Would transferring the funds into an annuity be a good move? I'm not familiar with annuities, so wanted to ask the Dave Ramsey community for their perspective. I have a 401k from another previous employer, thinking I should just combine them. And somebody answered, I saw the answer right below it, and it was a great answer, so I just copied their answer. Dave is against annuities because they are high in fees and low performing compared to other investment options. You should be able to direct roll over, transfer your 401k to an IRA, and then invest in mutual fund like Dave suggests. That's right. So you don't need to, I mean, that is a rollover to an IRA. That is a rollover. And so I guess you can roll both of those from two previous employers, unless you're talking about the same one. I have a 401k from another previous employer. So that makes me think it's two of them. And yeah, you can put those in the same IRA, I believe. I don't think you're limited to number of rollovers. Finished this tonight, not a bad book. And I only included this so I could sing. How's that go? Know yourself, know your money, love your life, not theirs. And I guess that's why we all watch Rachel Cruz. And that is one of the, just to do an ad for myself, that is one of the songs in the music playlist on my YouTube channel. And there's 11 more beauties like that, and they're all like that. I didn't write any new music. They're all like parodies of songs. This was interesting. Save money by only buying the lenses and not the frame is all right. Probably that doesn't work very well. How do you stick them to your face to make sure they don't fall off? But, I mean, I guess you could do this and just use the same frames that you had before. Hello. Considering starting a high-yield savings account for a portion of my emergency fund, I see a lot of people in this group recommend Ally, but the rate is only 3.4%. There are other banks out there with higher rates. So what is the draw for Ally? I always just use my traditional bank savings account. So I would love advice on where to open a high-yield savings account. People like Ally because they have the individual buckets in accounts. So you have one account, but inside that account you can have like different if you're thinking about like a Windows or Apple, I guess, directory structure, you have the hard drive, and that's one folder. The hard drive is one folder, and there on the hard drive you have other folders. You have the operating system folder, you have documents folder, you have pictures folder, etc., etc. And so it's just like that. You have different folders, and they call them buckets. And basically, like if you have different sinking funds you need to be doing, that kind of thing, or you want to separate out money so you don't spend it. So that it's out of there. And I don't know if it will show you, I don't know how it shows the balance in there, if you can set it so that it doesn't report some of the money like that's in a certain bucket. I don't know about that, but it does help people, I believe, to stick to their budgets, etc., and just do good things with finance overall. As far as you're worried about the rate, the Fed lowered interest rates, so it's not going to be as much as it was previously. But you could probably beat 3.4%. You can look on bankrate.com as a good place. But also, when you open up a high yield savings account or anything, read all of the fine print. And of course, for the portion of the emergency fund, and the, Ramsey Solutions is fine with you putting your entire emergency fund in a high yield savings account, but I don't like that because it's not immediately available, because emergencies don't wait 1 to 3 days for that transfer. And especially, say the husband puts it in there and the wife has no idea how to get to it, and the husband is in a coma, that doesn't do any good. That money is locked up, and sometimes they do dumb stuff like that where the wife would not even, her name wouldn't even be on it just because the husband was short-sighted, that kind of thing. So if it's in the bank in your town, you have much better chance of getting the money out immediately. Obviously not on weekends. Whenever we have work done on our home, my dad either puts it on his credit card. So this is a time where whenever is fine, because this is saying, whenever, like it's multiple instances of this happening. So it's all different times. So whenever is correct here. So, but if it's whenever I graduated, no, you graduated one particular year, one particular day. Okay, so it's not whenever, it's when I graduated. People are nutty with saying things incorrectly. Anyway, but this is because this is multiple times. So this is fine for whenever. Whenever would be. It's not just because you don't know the date. It's still just one date. Maybe that's what it is. Because the kids today, how they like to be ambiguous with their language. And so that could be it. Not going to lie. They want to point out they're not lying all the time. But they want to say whenever because they can't remember the date of it. That's fine, but it still was on one particular date, so it's still a when, even though you can't remember it. So whenever, you don't use for a one instance thing. Anyway, whenever we have one work done on our house, it sounds like quite a bit. My dad either puts it on our house, on our home. My dad either puts it on his credit card, takes out a loan for it, or puts it on a payment plan. He has 2 active cards that he uses almost constantly, but always gets them paid off eventually. Not advised, of course. using it at all. I have one that's active and always keep it paid off while very seldomly using it. You're not supposed to be using it at all. This is after going through Dave's class. Well, you didn't learn to not do a credit card then. How do I convince him? How do I convince Ham? It's probably supposed to be him. How do I convince him that debt ain't the way? How you're going to do that? You still have a credit card. You need to convince yourself first, sounds like. We have to have our pool rebuilt again this summer. No, you don't have to. You can go without a pool if you need to, while you save up money to rebuild the pool. So you don't have to do that, and you don't have to do that on debt. See, that's why people are nutty, because they do talk themselves into lies like that. You do not have to have your pool rebuilt. You just don't need to use it this summer. And you can save up money to get that done. And then you can have it for the next summer maybe. Or you can get it fixed halfway through the summer. There's a leak somewhere, which we had done a few years ago, and he'll probably use some form of stupid to pay for it, if you are. Okay, and you're using a form of stupid seldomly still, and you still have it active. So I would worry about yourself first, and then your dad after that. Oh, and also, other people must have told this person, I believe it was a young lady, people turned off commenting for the post, probably because people are saying, how is it our house and it's your dad? And you're not a minor still. Why are you still living in there? And also pointing out that you still have a credit card. So you trying to get him not to use them is dumb as crap. Be the good example first, and tend to your garden first before assisting others. Put on your oxygen mask first before assisting others. I have a question. And all of y'all, please don't come at me. I'm going to come at you. I'm coming at you hard. I am almost done paying off the debt with the X, and I always felt okay with having the cards I have opened because I knew how to use them properly, but when I got with the X, he basically took advantage of me. But my question is, well, see, if the cards didn't exist, he couldn't have taken advantage of you with them. But my question is, will it affect my score? Yes. Do we care? No. Affect my score if I close the cards? Yes. We don't care about credit score, though. You're in the wrong place. And this, again, is on the Run by Ramsey Solutions on Facebook, the Ramsey Baby Steps community. So you're not just in, reddit.com/r/financial advice. You're not on that subreddit. You're on the Ramsey thing, and people are so nutty. It's like they read through it or hear through it, and they'll like just go like when they hear the no debt thing or the no credit card things or the no credit score thing, they just go and just shrug it off and don't pay any attention to it. That's dumb as crap. That's the basic tenets of the advice, is the no debt thing. I am just terrified to have all 5 cards open with the available balances they have on them, and a debt party happens again. How would it? How would the X still, does the X have those numbers? How would he do it? You definitely need to change those, or I just close them to new charges and then pay them all off is how you fix that. I want to keep at least one open in case of emergency because I'm disabled and I don't make enough. I don't care. Don't care. You want to follow the advice or do your own crap. You're welcome to do your own crap. You're the one that has to live with it. You're the one that makes the money. And so you get to decide, but your financial situation is not going to change until you quit being dumb. Like most people, our car insurance rates are going up. Yes, I shop around every 6 months. So if it's if it was one of them, it could be month, but it's 6 of them, so you need a S on the end. With our independent broker, we found through Ramsey, we are not getting the lowest rate due to our credit score. The renewable document site, the reason that should be a CITE for site. That's a different kind of site. Again, could be text to speech to text going awry there. The reason for the non-lower rate is due to our non-lower is not a word. Making up stuff now, and that's why you quoted it. To our limited credit history, we have been in baby step 2 over 2 years. Okay, baby step 2 is limited to 3 years. If it's going to take more than 3 years, then that's when it's time to sell houses or cars. We close accounts as we pay them off and have gone from something like 10 accounts down to 3, and that includes the mortgage. Okay, great. So 2 plus the mortgage. Is this something we just have to deal with until we are in baby step 7? No, you can keep checking around. Maybe not all of them will do that. I don't recall ever seeing that on mine in Allstate. I've Allstate insurance for renters and for vehicle insurance. I've never seen that before, where it says because of your credit score. Now, if you have a bad credit score, maybe that is because I don't have a bad one. Mine's indeterminable. So maybe it's like because you're in the halfway, and so that's a no. So is it just something you have to deal with until you're in baby step 7? Maybe, but also check more. So you said you shop around every 6 months. How many are you shopping around to? 2 different ones, 3 different ones? Look for another one. Try other companies. Allstate, I would suggest that because I haven't had any problem with it. Again, it may be because you have a low credit score as opposed to indeterminate. Since you're still working on it, you could, but I never saw that even when I was on baby step 2. Never ever saw that. And I believe I was on Allstate back then as well. Or is there such thing as a manual underwrite for someone that still has a credit score but is no longer playing the game? No, there's not. And so if you can't find any other ones, then you'll just be paying more. It's not going to be that much more. You can handle it, especially since you're not paying as much debt interest anymore. How about that? But yeah, keep searching for one that won't do that. I'm not sure how much different the non-lowest rate is anyways. Right. It's not going to be different. Okay, the different. Unless you said it wrong, the speech to text wasn't the problem here. So I have been going back and forth on the emergency fund. Why? We are on baby step 3. Okay, that is build the 3 to 6 months of expenses emergency fund. Currently, I've settled at 4 months. I wanted to get some opinions on what. Wife is a regular salaried employee. I'm a salaried and work as a government contractor, and the contract seems mostly stable. Mostly. They mostly come at mostly. Also have a pension-like income that is guaranteed. The pension income is about 50% of my current take-home pay from my regular job. Based on this info and looking at the Ramsey site, I assume we fall into a 3-month. What would you all suggest, 3 or 6 months? It's not based on your income. That's not what it's based on. Since you are getting a pension-like income. Is that an annuity? And that's bad. You should cash that out and put it elsewhere if that's an annuity. So if you're saying you don't need it because you have this income that will never stop, that still doesn't satisfy the requirements for emergency fund, because emergency fund is for emergency, and that's more than just losing your job. There could be other emergencies. So it's fine to do 3 months if you want to do 3 months, but like for example, the more you have liabilities, the more you should get a 6 month. You should err towards the 6 month. And so currently you have settled at 4 months. Why did you decide that? I'm wondering why you decided 4 and not 3 or 5. So, one of the things that I recommend is to, if you have a mortgage, guess what? You're fixing things around the house. And so things break around the house and in a house. And so you are the one that has to fix it. So if you have a mortgage, I recommend that you have 6 month emergency fund. Also, if you have children, I would recommend you have a 6 month emergency fund as well, because that's just more liability. If they have some kind of medical emergency, that's more people that can have a medical emergency. Please state the nature of your medical emergency. When you close your credit card account and still owe, the company will not make you pay it in full, right? Maybe. Generally, they would. Also known as make you negotiate or send you to consolidation groupie. Now, if you're talking about it being sent to collections and then you can negotiate with them, but the main company, you might be able to say, okay, I want to close this. How much to settle in full? And if you've made payments on time and never been late or anything like that, they don't have any reason to let you off the hook. They don't have any reason to let you pay any less than the full amount. And you took it out, so you probably should pay out the actual amount. And will they still accept auto payments? Okay, I want info before I close it so I'm not blindsided. All right, so you have to have an account with them in order to do an auto payment or to do a payment at all. People are nutty, and I don't know why they can't figure out simple things. You can't close the credit card account until it is paid off in full. You can't close it because they will still have an account and you still owe them money. But what you can do is you can close the card to new charges. You could say, don't let me or anybody else put any new charges on that. And you don't have to say you're trying to pay it off or anything like that. None of the darn business. You can just say you don't want any more charges on that account. And so you still have the account open though, and it has to be open in order for you to pay it off still. You can't make payments on something that does not exist. Just completed baby step 1 onto paying off my remaining $5K truck loan. Excellent. Baby step 2, I'm paying off credit cards. 3, I have 0 balance now. Yay. Close them. Close them. But do I need to call the credit card company and close the accounts, or just leave them alone and they will close due to inactivity? Thanks. Okay, it's time to be a big boy, a big girl now, and be proactive on this stuff, especially where it regards debt. You call them and have it closed. You don't just wait until it closes due to inactivity. That's the dumbest crap I've ever heard of in my life. Quit being lazy. Quit trying to have the system take care of you instead of you taking care of yourself. Must have not copied an I there for if you're able to pay Excuse me. So anyway, if you're able to pay extra towards your mortgage, do you choose to do quarterly, monthly, or bi-weekly payments? Is there one that is better to do? I have a fixed 30-year mortgage. We're at year 9 years. Okay. People can't do simple English. I don't know why. Don't know why. I mean, some of these people are not native English speakers. I get it. And if that's the case, fine. But if you were born in America, you need to be doing better than this. But as far as the question, quarterly, monthly, or bi-weekly payments, is there one that is better to do? You do it as you have the extra money to do that. And the way you do that is you send all of the extra money to that. And what you should be doing is steps 4, 5, and 6 all at the same time. Step 4, investing the 15% of gross household income to retirement. Save for kid college if you have kids and you want to help them. If not, you can skip step 5. And then you're only in step 4 and 6. And step 6 is pay off your home early. Okay, so you know that money that previously you used to do the $1,000 emergency fund, and previously you paid off all your debt with all that extra money. And then on step 3, with that extra money, you built your 3 to 6 months of expenses and your fully funded emergency fund. You know that money? That's still extra money now. Now what are you doing with that? You're not going to blow it all, no. If you want to take a vacation or something like that, on step 4, you can put that in the budget. That's fine. You budget for it and save up for it. That is perfectly fine to do. But you are supposed to do steps 4, 5, and 6, all 3 at the same time, but in that priority order. So with the extra that you were using here every month, again, you can put fun things in the budget. That's fine. But beyond that, you do need to be investing 15% of your household income. And so you don't budget fun that is going to cause that to not happen. So you wouldn't pause investing to do baby steps 1, 2, and 3. Yes, you do not pause investing to save up for a vacation. No, you don't do that. You keep doing the 15%. And so that's the first thing to do, is still this priority order. And again, you can skip step 5 if you just decide not to help the kids or if you don't have any. So again, with the extra money, some of it goes to retirement investing. Some of it goes to whatever fund you put in the budget. And then if you're doing kid college, you would put some to that. You can figure out how much you need to put in per month based on how much you want to have when the child is 17 or 18. You can work all that out with the investments as well. You can do all that math and figure out what number you need to put in there per month. And then anything extra after that needs to go to the mortgage, and that would be immediately. I would assume for most people that would be monthly, because your budget is monthly. So a bi-weekly payment, that's an extra payment. By doing that, I'm paying extra because you do bi-weekly, then you are getting more than you would if you did it once a month, and a higher total amount as well. If we're talking the same amount, like for 2 bi-weekly payments, or the bi-weekly payment is half of it, you end up with more because you don't have the monthly. You get 12 months in the year, but it's 26 bi-weekly payments, and all that money added together would be more than the monthly money added together if they were the same amount. So, but I assume that most people's budgets are based on the month, and so it's whenever you can like do a close on your expenses in your budget And that's when you say, like, okay, all the expenses are paid, or even you can plan it out. All the expenses will be paid by this date. And so then anything we have in the account is extra. And now you don't need to take the checking account to zero for sure. It's called a zero-based budget, not because there's zero in the checking account at any given time, but that you are accounting for every dollar. So, but you may need some money to get to the next paycheck, and that you would still keep in the checking account. But you determine what amount is extra that month, and then you send that to the mortgage, and you send that as soon as possible. You don't save 3 months of it and then send it. That's dumb as crap. You don't do that. Again, if you want to work it out, so you send it bi-weekly, but that may be harder to do. And you want to make sure, again, you do have enough in your checking account to get you to the next paycheck. The fixed 30-year mortgage should have been 15. You might have bought too much house, sir or madam. Alrighty, perfect timing. Just get rid of all of this so that I don't do these again. Alrighty. Alrighty. I am, once again, I am Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you, yes, you,
write a check today and pay off the credit card and cut it up.
My bad. Wrong one. That's good advice from Dave, though. Always. If you are having money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation / assessment with me by emailing me, coachstevemoney@gmail.com, and we will work that out. That appointment will happen via video conferencing. Donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney, or alternatively the Cash App at $CoachSteveMoney. It wasn't taken. Or Walmart gift card to that same email address, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams, as always, subject to change at the last minute, sometimes even. The Ramsey Show Aftershow, 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time, and Monday, which was today. We are done with that one now. Next two are going to be Wednesday and Friday. That's the plan right now. Wednesday and Friday, October 8th and 10th. Also, answering your financial questions streams. Those are 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. October 5th, 7th, and 9th. Oh, I did the one Sunday already. Alrighty. And so the only thing that might change that is answering your financial questions might move on Saturday or Sunday, might move from 8 p.m. to more like 4 p.m. If my pro and college football teams, I don't own them, I just like them. Washington Panthers and Ohio State Buckeyes. If they're playing a night game, then I would do that earlier. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment, do all the things. Much appreciated if you've already done those things. And as always, make smart. It says it right there in case you forget. It's right there handy for you. Make smart financial decisions every day. I don't know if you can hear my upstairs neighbor creaking around up there. Floorboards making noise. Well, why is that not working?